Hey guys, my name is Quori-Tyler, aka QT, aka Books with QT, and in today's video we are going over my fall TBR. If you're new to the book world, booktube, bookstagram, all that stuff, TBR just stands for to be read. So it's all the books that I want to read. It's basically like, not a wish list, but it's basically the list that I will look at when I'm looking for a new book to read during the fall. And sometimes you read all of it, sometimes you don't, but these are the books that I want to read. If I look down a lot, it's because I have the list on my computer. I broke this down into 4 categories: literary fiction, mystery, fantasy, and romance. Obviously the category with the most books is romance because I just love a romance book, but we do have about 3 in each other category. Dream. Stop. All right, let's start with literary fiction. First book I want to get to is The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, and I've heard amazing things about this book. People say that they cry, which I'm not excited about, and that it's just a beautiful story. It's a World War II historical fiction with a little bit of romance in it, I believe. I also think it could be dual perspective based on what I was reading online, but I'm not 100% confident on that. I've never really read a historical fiction. I think I've read one, but yeah, I'm just like not interested in history that much, as bad as that sounds. But I hear amazing things about this book, so I am gonna give it a try. It is a big boy. I will say the words are kind of big on the page, but 563 pages, that's kind of wild. Also, this cover, absolutely beautiful. So Nightingale. A lot of the books on my fall TBR I do not have physical copies of yet. I'm gonna just insert the pictures right here and talk about it, but you can see the covers right here. Up next is The Life Impossible by Matt Haig. I read Midnight Libraries by him, and it was an absolutely beautiful book. He does magical realism so well. Magical realism is like not quite fantasy, but it's the main characters living a completely normal life, but then some aspect of the life becomes like magical. But I think he does a great job of it and uses that magical realism to teach you lessons and stories and make you think more inward. I feel like I'm really thinking about my own life when I'm reading a Matt Haig book. So this one is about a math teacher, Grace, whose friend dies or is lost. I'm not 100% sure on which one it is, but the friend leaves Grace her house on the Mediterranean Sea, and so Grace goes to this house to kind of see what her friend's life was about and how it possibly ended. But in the description it says what she uncovers is stranger than she could have dreamed, and I feel like that's where the magical realism is going to come in, and I'm so excited about that. Moving on to mystery thrillers, I've actually started this series already, but I haven't finished it. It's the Natural series, which is a YA mystery thriller, but don't let the YA fool you. It's actually a lot scarier than I anticipated. I thought because it was YA, it was going to be very like Scooby-Doo, trying to find the bad guy, but no, we're talking serial killers. We're talking graphic, we're talking gore, so take with that what you will. So I read only the first book so far, The Naturals, and I just got Killer Instinct, which is book number 2. There's 4 books in this series, and I read The Naturals literally in one day, so I'm trying to pace myself and hold off because I really love this series so far, and I loved the book so much that I don't want to read it all in like 1 week and not have it anymore, so I'm trying to pace myself. I'm gonna get to the Killer Instinct I think next week, and then I want to read the last 2 books probably in September, so that I don't know, it's more of like a fall-esque feel. I feel like mystery thrillers are great for the fall, obviously probably because Halloween, but yeah, that's just the vibes. This one is about a set of, I think it's 5 high schoolers who have unique abilities to read people. So like there's one girl who is really good at seeing if someone's lying or not. There's another one that's really good at profiling people and seeing what their habits are. And they are solving some cold cases with the FBI. It's a really good series. It's like such a crazy cool concept, and it's just done so perfectly. I can't wait to get to the second one of this series. Next and last mystery thriller I have, because I typically don't read a lot of mystery thrillers, so I think 2 is good enough. It's Where Sleeping Girls Lie. This book is about our main character, Sade, who goes into her junior year. She's going to a new school. It's a boarding school, and as soon as she gets there, the next day her roommate goes missing, and it doesn't help that Sade seems to have a lot of secrets. Oh, and then a student is found dead. And then as Sade is trying to figure out what's going on, she realizes that there's a lot of secrets and things lying beneath the walls of this school. I think this will be a fun little read. I'm a little scared to read it, but it should be fun. Moving on to fantasy, I would not be talking about a fantasy series without talking about Throne of Glass or Sarah J. Maas series in general. I'm on the 4th book of Throne of Glass, Heir of Fire, and I hear this one is not so good, but after this it gets amazing. So I really want to get through this book so that for the rest of the fall I can finish out the Throne of Glass series, and I just can't wait to get to Kingdom of Ash because the way you guys talk about Kingdom of Ash, like it's the best book ever written. I'm excited to get there because so far I have not honestly been loving Throne of Glass. I'm so sorry. Like, ACOTAR is so much better. The girlies are telling me to hold out and that it gets better. So I'm gonna trust you guys and continue it on through the fall. And if you don't know, Throne of Glass is a series about, it's this assassin, her name is Selene, and she has some secrets in her past. And so one of the books, we go to her past and see kind of how she gets to where she is now, but now she's an assassin for the king. I mean, where I am right now, she's like an assassin for the king, and there's all this stuff and we're just trying to figure it out. There's so many characters, but I can't even really fully tell you what the series is about because I think it changes so much throughout book to book. So I'm still trying to figure that out myself. Up next is Babel by R.F. Kuang, and this one is very highly anticipated. I saw a lot of people talking about this book last year. This is another historical fiction. It's a historical fantasy, actually, based in like 1828. So we're going like way back. Again, don't really know what this one's about. It's just giving lots of like history type vibes. This boy is from China, goes to London to study at this school that deals with like translations and silver, but their silver has magic in it, and then they start a war with China, so he's kind of conflicted because obviously that's his homeland, and then he's now in this new place helping to fight against the homeland, and he's trying to figure it all out. It seems like there's a bigger, deeper meaning in this book that I'm excited to explore. But yeah, this one should be fun. Again, trying to step out of my comfort zone and not just read a bunch of romance books. This one seems to have no romance in it, but I'm still excited to read it. Next, we have One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. So from what I'm reading, it seems like she has some kind of monster trapped in her head, but that monster she needs to protect her and to keep her secret. But then she meets someone. So apparently there's like some kind of like dark magic or something that's threatening the town of Blunder, which is where she lives, or the kingdom of Blunder, which is where she lives. And she meets someone who is trying to stop that. But then I think that affects whatever it is that's in her mind. So then that's not helping because she's like almost deteriorating while they're trying to like fight these evil powers. I'm not really sure. I've just heard a lot about this book. It doesn't even like sound that interesting to me, but a lot of people, I think this is actually, it's like, there's two things. Either people absolutely love this book or like don't really care for it. So I'm curious to try it and see what it's giving for me. Okay, so for romance, I'm going to start with this book, Hopeless, which is the last book in a series, so it might sound weird that I'm bringing it up, but I read the rest of the Chestnut Spring series, and I really liked the second, third, and fourth book. Didn't love the first one that much, but this is the fifth one, and I'm really excited to get to it. Again, this is one that I heard people either really love, or some people are like, the rest of the books are better, so I'm curious to see what I think, but I wanted to include this in here because if you're looking for a good cowboy romance, I feel like cowboy romance is fun to read, especially in the transition from summer to fall. The Chestnut Spring series I highly recommend. Next is Funny Feelings by Tara DeWitt. This one is about two comedians, or one current stand-up comedian and an ex-comedian who is her manager, and they have to fake date for something and then obviously end up developing feelings. The cover is just giving very much fall, and I feel like it's one of those books that every fall comes around and people are like, you gotta read this one in the fall. Then we have The Unfortunate Side Effects of Heartbreak and Magic by Brienne Randall, and now that I'm looking at this one, it seems like it's a little bit more fantasy than I realized, so it could have been in that category, but it's also romance, right? We have magical realism in here. Our main character goes back to her small town. Her grandma is dying, but then she meets someone. Also, there's something to do with like, I think every 4 times she falls in love, something with like her magic or her powers or something happens. So I don't know if it's a good thing if she falls in love or a bad thing, something like that, but they coincide in some kind of way. So interested to see that. Again, cover is giving very much fall, very much October. We got to get to the October bag. Then we have Nothing Like the Movies by Lynn Painter, and this is the sequel to Better Than the Movies, which was such a cute YA romance book. This one, apparently our 2 main characters win, and I forgot the other one's name. I believe broke up, spoiler alert. There was like some kind of tragedy or something that's bringing them back together. I don't know, it seems like we're getting deep now. Last time we were just talking about like prom, end of high school, and now it seems like there's some more deeper meanings. They're in college, grown up. Next we have The Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Lori Gilmore. By the way, let's talk about the name. Lori Gilmore is giving Lorelai Gilmore, which is giving Gilmore Girls, which is a fall TV show. All the invisible strings are being snapped into place. This one, obviously The Pumpkin Spice Cafe, I think it's meant to be, it was like written to be a fall book, almost like a Christmas book or a summer book. Like this one was meant to be read in the fall. So it's a grumpy sunshine, small town, pumpkin cafe type of book. And then the last book I want to get to is The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. I read The 7-Year Slip last year in September. Actually, I read it in my quarantine for The Circle. So if you know, you know. I had to quarantine for The Circle for a week in a hotel, and that was one of the books that I read in there, and just made my heart so happy. I actually want to reread that as well. I don't know if that's adding to my TBR or not, but I want to reread that book because gosh, The 7-Year Slip is so good. This is another book, back to talking about The Dead Romantics now. Dead Romantics and 7-Year Slip, though, are magical realism books, so very similar to what I was talking about with Matt Haig with Midnight Library, and then the new one, Life Impossible. And this one is about a girl who goes to her grandmother's funeral or something like that, grandmother, grandfather, someone's funeral in her family. She sees her old editor, because she's a book writer, so she sees her old editor that died. So she was like, how am I seeing you? And then somehow I believe they fall in love or something. I'm not really sure. When I first heard about this book, I was like, it's not really giving it. It kind of sounds like, what am I reading about? Like, I don't want to read about someone falling in love with a ghost, but everyone says it's really good. And then once I read The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston, I was like, okay, the way she writes can get me into a book really easily, so I think that I would actually really like this one. So I'm gonna give it a chance, and there's great reviews. It has a, oh, actually, I don't know, it's a 3.93 on Goodreads, so we have like very varying feelings on this. I'm seeing a bunch of 5-star reviews and then like a couple 1 stars, so take with that what you will. All right, those are some of the books on my fall TBR. I'm so excited about fall reading. I feel like I get my most reading done in the fall time. Summer, I really fall off. I think it's just because like life gets busy, you're having fun, you're outside, and so I don't read as much in the summer. So I'm excited for fall to come and for me to like really have cozy time just reading with like a candle and a pumpkin chai latte. Basically, I plan on every single book that I read for the next few months to be in some kind of reading vlog or reading wrap up, but like I'm gonna be doing a lot of reading book videos, so be prepared for that. I'm so excited. Thank you guys so much for watching this. Let me know one book that you are most excited to read this fall in the comments. If you don't know, I started a book club on Discord. I'll have the link in the description, but we picked our September book, which is gonna be Christina Lauren, Paradise Problems. I'm so excited to read it. We're doing our full book club meeting, like wrap-up thing on October 1st, so you still have time to sign up for that and to read the book and talk with us and have our little discussion. I'm so excited about that. And then we'll probably soon pick our October book, so look forward to that. I will see you guys in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye. Mwah.